hard to capture, extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my psyche.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And for anime only fans, this is the time of the month where a lot of the content on the channel is going to be spoiler heavy. But with all that being said, though, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So, yo, I want to go ahead and clear something up because I've seen so many people saying, oh my god, we are in a plot hole right now. Obviously, this means that Momoshiki is giving Kawaki his karma seal, and that's why Boruto and Kawaki are fighting in the end, and Isshiki no longer has the karma seal. And I just seen so many of these comments that I'm like, okay. I teased this in my chapter review. I said, hey, I still think that Kawaki's gonna have Isshiki's karma seal. There's something that people are overlooking, and I'll talk about it in another video. And I was actually going to save this topic for January. I want to tell you guys what so many people are overlooking, which is the fact that Isshiki still gave Kawaki the karma seal. So I know somebody's like, yo, did we read the same chapter, fam? It's clearly in there. Kawaki used a shadow clone. He used a shadow clone. Therefore, Isshiki couldn't give him the karma seal. Even Isshiki himself was pissed off. Yes, you're absolutely right. And Kawaki made one fatal mistake on that. So actually two now that I'm thinking about it. So obviously the first mistake is Kawaki got too arrogant. He got too full of himself. He did all this trash talk, was getting all savage and everything. And Kawaki looks at Isshiki as he's fading away, and what does Kawaki do? Kawaki jumps down and he stomps on the last remnants of Ishiki's body. Why is this so important? Well, just before Kawaki actually does this, Isshiki makes eye contact with him. There's extreme focus put on his eyes, and he's got the speed lines near his eyes, which means that in that moment Isshiki did something. And the reason why I say this is that this is one of those times where, if you're familiar with Masashi Kishimoto's writing in a manga format, so delete everything you know about the anime, you have to look at this from a manga perspective. In the manga, the way that Kishimoto would kind of handle things like genjutsu and everything is, once you got to the eyes and stuff like that, there will be little small telltale giveaways whenever you would get something special with a ocular dojutsu that was being used to kind of foreshadow something or set up something in the future. And so the reason why I say this is, when it comes to giving the karma seal, the two times that we've actually seen people connect via chakra has been Naruto and Sasuke when they were able to connect their chakra. Then you had Momoshiki in the anime. I'm going to use the anime for a second because so many people are jumping from the anime over to the manga. But in the anime, Momoshiki and Boruto, they had that moment where they shared chakra and they met inside that little void and everything. Well, here's the thing. In the manga, it was a little bit different. Momoshiki got absolutely tanked by Boruto's attack, and they didn't meet in some special space-time void or anything like that with all these clouds floating. Instead, you saw Momoshiki and Boruto in that same area where they were on the battlefield. Only difference is even Momoshiki was surprised that Boruto could actually see him, and the only person who knew what was going on was Sasuke because of his Rinnegan. So the reason why I bring that up is, you have the opportunity to where Isshiki could have had that karma seal implanted in that split second when Kawaki's foot crushed onto Ishiki's body. It does not take long to put the karma seal onto somebody. If you go back and you look at Boruto and Kawaki when they are fighting each other in the very first chapter of the series, the pattern that you saw on their karma seals, they're completely different. This is the only way that that's actually going to happen, is if Isshiki, in that small moment on page 37 of the Boruto manga, when he's looking up at Kawaki and then you see the emphasis put on Kawaki stepping onto Ishiki's body, the only way that that happens is if that's when he puts the karma seal on him, or if you go the route of the shadow clones. I think that as Boruto and Naruto inevitably have their back and forth fight, much in the same way that time froze still for Boruto when he talked to Momoshiki, you could have a scenario to where Kawaki is talking with Isshiki after the fact, because after Momoshiki was taken down. If you go back and you look at the actual manga, after Momoshiki was taken down, there's a few things to kind of keep in mind. So Naruto and the others, they were still moving around and having conversations for a short period of time, and then it's in the time after they had their conversation and their guard was lowered, a few minutes later, that's when Momoshiki froze time, and that's when he had his conversation with Boruto. So I say that to say you could have a similar thing here. We're only a few moments after Sasuke got his Rinnegan stabbed. We're only a few moments after Isshiki was taken down. So there is still room for a delayed effect to take place here, and if that happens, this is going to be a scene I want you guys to go back to. And the reason why I say that that could be the type of thing there is there's enough wiggle room there with the karma seal that we don't know everything in terms of the application process of it. We just know that it's something that happens relatively quickly. Now, there's another aspect of this I think people need to kind of take into consideration as well. So you have that, but you also have something where if you go back to the Naruto series, you could bring this plot point back up and use this as a backdoor way to have Kawaki get the karma seal, which is something that myself and my dude Shinj, and if I'm saying your name wrong, I apologize, Brody, but it's something we talked about, and it's the fact that this right here. So shadow clones are able to transfer the experience back over to the user, and when you start looking at that right there, there is something possible to where Isshiki puts that karma seal onto the shadow clone, and after it ends up dispersing, there is the possibility that it's a delayed effect and it ends up traveling towards that shadow clone. So that could be something you see there. However, I know people say, oh, well, we saw the karma seal breaking apart, and yes, I agree with you, which is why I lean more so to that first level right there of saying that in that split second when Kawaki jumped down, that's when it happened. Because when you go back and you look at the manga panel, it's just very telling that, again, Masashi Kishimoto had Ikimoto put so much emphasis on Isshiki's eyes, and there was also emphasis on the fact that Kawaki was crushing onto Isshiki's body in that moment. There is the possibility that Kawaki might not have actually noticed what was going on with his body yet. Again, it's something to where it will be but again, since we don't know as much about karma, it is something where Masashi Kishimoto could kind of play around with that, especially since you could go the same route that you did with Momoshiki and Boruto, to where time is stopped for everybody except for the two people who are interacting during this time period space. Just how Boruto and Momoshiki were the only ones who were aware of what was going on with their conversation. Obviously Sasuke with the Rinnegan, which Sasuke no longer has, which is a very interesting choice given the circumstance in this theory right here. But the other thing also that you have to kind of keep in mind is you could have it to where Kawaki and Isshiki are speaking, and it's only a split second in time where it actually passes in a split second in this timeline here, even though in that alternate time space that they're in, they're able to have that full conversation where Isshiki reminds them that you're just a vessel, and maybe you have it where maybe that's playing out simultaneously as Boruto versus Momoshiki in Boruto's body takes place, and then once Kawaki gets the karma seal on him, maybe the resonance between Kawaki's karma seal and Boruto's karma seal is something that knocks Momoshiki out of Boruto's body as far as controlling it. However, I want to know from you guys, how do you guys feel about this? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.